Hey guys, I know I am super late to this party, but I still want to make this video and talk about Halo Campaign Evolved. So, first off, the Xbox Game Showcase happened 2 whole weeks ago. I'm obviously late on this, but I've been busy with work. However, I will say the showcase was great, and obviously we did get a new trailer for Halo Campaign Evolved with the showcase, as well as some more gameplay that came out immediately after, and just a whole bunch of information. There was a Q&A that Halo Studios posted on their website, and we're going to dig a little bit into that in a second. But I do want to start this off by saying I think this game looks really good. And that might be a little bit of a controversial statement because there's a lot of people right now who don't really want to see this game succeed. A lot of critics to Halo in general. And that's really not new. I know you might get that sense that it's new because it's with the new Halo game coming out. It is in everyone's feed and a lot of people talking about the game and not all of it always being positive. But that's not new. I mean, to be honest with you, Halo has been fairly well hated. I mean, it's been beloved by many, but fairly well criticized and hated by many, going all the way back to like Halo Reach days, and it's kind of just grown over the years. So I know a lot of people kind of feel like, oh, it's people are kind of hating on the franchise ever since Infinite launch, but realistic and Infinite launch 5 years ago, I think it was, right, in 2021. So it's been a while. But with that being said, no, not really. I mean, I've been a fan of this franchise and stuck with it the entire time, pretty much. And yeah, no, I mean, I can go back and remember when people were really criticizing Halo Reach, which of course that was still during the Bungie days, and of course the hate really did grow quite a lot with 343 Studios and a lot of people not liking the art style changes, which I get. I'm not saying all of this criticism is just bullshit. I think a lot of criticism is legitimate, but you also get the sense that not all of it is, and you get a lot of people who just want to hate on the game and just want the franchise to die off. And I know this is just going into like a little bit of a side rant here, but my point just being is I think this game looks really good. There's a lot of negative opinions on some people's mind because that's just how they work. Hate or criticism, whatever you want to call it, is very popular. It's been popular for a while. It's easier to be critical of something than it is to like something nowadays. You get more views off of being critical of something. You actually get less hate off of being critical of something. You get more hate of liking something. I mean, trust me, I've been talking about Halo for a long, long time now, and a lot of people just want to see this franchise die. I mean, I've literally been making videos on Halo since the Halo 4 days, and no, you won't see those videos on this channel. But with that being said, I'm just trying to point out that I've been around for a while, and I've seen it all. I've seen people being critical during the 343 era. I've seen people be critical of Halo kind of at the end of the Bungie era, and then I've seen just people be critical of Halo even as it got better. I mean, whether you love Halo Infinite or not, that's okay if you don't really like it. But truth be told, it actually did pretty well. It was fairly well received by the fans. Definitely felt like a step in the right direction, and it did have a pretty good player base at launch. Obviously, one of the issues that Halo Infinite ran into pretty quickly is it was a live service game, and content was not really coming out fast enough, not nearly fast enough. And that's kind of why you saw this big dip. But the game's still alive today. Like, there's still many people who play the game. It's just not going to be as massive as it really should be. But to bring this back into focus with Halo Campaign Evolved, because like I said, I've been doing a little side rant here for too long. I think this game looks really good, and even though a lot of people kind of want to see it fail, I don't think it will. Pre-orders are through the roof for this game, and I know a lot of people don't quite love pre-orders. A lot of people actually hate the idea of pre-orders, but it is a sense of how well this game is going to sell. They obviously sold out a collector's edition almost right away, which is really shitty because a lot of them were sold to scalpers. All you got to do is go on eBay and you can just prove that point that easily. And unfortunately, they did release their Q&A. There was a couple, not more, maybe more than a couple controversial answers they had in their Q&A. One of them was, hey, are you going to produce more of the collector's edition? They said no. So that sucks for a lot of people, myself included. I did not get my hands on a pre-order for the collector's edition, even though I would love to. But it is what it is. I'm kind of getting used to it nowadays, which is not to say that's okay. I'm just saying the scalping issue has never gone away. We have had scalpers absolutely destroying supply on many of our favorite hobbies, not just video games. I like to build computers, and computer parts are often scalped and sold for a ridiculous upcharge. So it's not okay. It sucks. But at the moment, I don't have a solution. I'm not going to pay the scalpers, though. I can tell you that much. So that was one of the big issues that I would say was kind of brought up in the Q&A. Another big issue is obviously they made a big deal to show off Sergeant Johnson's gun. And obviously there was a question of, hey, will we be able to use that gun? And this really kind of unfortunate and I think a little dumb answer was no, it's only for Sergeant Johnson. And the reason I think it's dumb is not necessarily because I'm trying to shit on Halo Studios. If anything, I'm trying to be pretty positive with them. But how hard could it have been to, include that gun into the prequel missions that we're going to get, as well as into the main campaign, maybe as just like a Easter egg in an area or something. Like, it is a really cool gun. There's a lot of interest in people wanting to use that gun and play with it, and we're not able to. And I just, once again, I got to say, it doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to implement, so why are we gatekeeping it? I don't get it. There were a few more issues, one of which was the Mark IV armors only in the prequel missions, which does suck. But if I'm being honest with you, that doesn't bug me as much as the other two things that really bug me. And that's that there's no theater mode, which is unfortunate, but I will live. I wish and I hope that maybe they'll add it in later. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, no pun intended, or whatever the right wording is for that. But also that there needs to be kind of online Microsoft accounts in order to play a game. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Not even a little bit. I think that's completely ridiculous. This is a single player game, not really a multiplayer game, right? You shouldn't have to be online with a Microsoft account to play this game. And to be fair, the wording on it doesn't necessarily say that exactly, but I would assume that might be the case. It does say like you need a unique Microsoft account, and something that I would say, and many others have said, is guest accounts should work just fine, right? Like if I'm trying to play co-op, I shouldn't have to have a unique Microsoft account for my guest. We should be able to play with a guest account. But on top of that too, if it is also saying you got to be collected, what am I saying? You got to be connected to online to play the game. I think that is also really dumb. Not everybody has access to good internet. Sometimes you're traveling. Think of whatever reason you want to use. Point being is if you bought the game, we should be able to play a game. It's a single player game. I don't need to be connected online all the time just to play the game that I bought. And lastly, there's more Q&As in there, but these are kind of the ones I want to touch on. Lastly, they did talk about how they're not really planning this to be a live service game, which I actually think is a good thing. I don't think this game should be a live service game. And they're not really planning any expansions afterwards. And my thing is, and then, once again, we're in this kind of gray area where it's like, what does the wording of that really mean? Does that mean there's going to be no additional support for this game at all? Like no minor patches that maybe include Johnson's gun in the main campaign or whatever? Or is it going to be flat out, hey, the game launches and that's it? You're going to have that launch version and maybe they'll patch a couple glitches or bugs or whatever, but not going to include any additional features or anything like that. And if that's the case, I think that's a little silly. The kind of hopeful answer here is when they say we're not like planning to, support it further with live service or, additional expansions, is major expansions like new missions or something like that. I get, but new features like maybe adding theater back into it, or not back into it, but adding theater into the game a month or two later would be really nice. I don't know why we wouldn't be trying to do that. There's obviously a demand for it. And obviously a lot of people are angry it's not included in it. So how about we fix that by maybe patching the game later on and including some fixes for these kind of silly things that in my mind aren't the biggest deal. In some other people's minds it is a big deal. But with that being said, everybody can kind of agree we would like to have these features. So why not try and patch them in a little after launch? So that kind of covers all the negative points I have for it currently. Obviously, the game is coming out pretty soon. It's coming out next month. I'm really excited to play it. I think the game looks amazing. From what a lot of creators who actually were able to get their hands on the game early have to say is that it feels like Halo. It looks really good. Obviously, we can see that. And I will say, a lot of people forget that Halo games used to look really amazing. Like, Combat Evolved was pretty much a technical showcase when it first came out. And Halo 2 looked pretty good, but they had some issues with the Central Engine, and they kind of had to cram to get that game out. And then Halo 3 came out, and it looked really good again. So a lot of people kind of just don't really remember or realize that Halo was one of these franchises that had really amazing graphics that it was known for. Now, that's not to say that that's the super most important thing about this franchise, nor is it to say that all of the Halo games have kind of been that way, right? No offense to, games like Halo 4, Halo 5, or Infinite, which I actually think all of those games look really good. I just don't think they're like the most best looking games for their time period, if that makes sense. And then obviously games like Battlefield are more known for showing off their graphics. But point just being there is I don't think there's anything wrong with just enjoying the fact that the graphics of this game look really good. And I just say that because I've heard some complaints about, this focus on, hey, it's a pretty game. And it's like, nothing's wrong with that. I absolutely agree. Gameplay and art style come first by far. But if you can have those two things down and then also have a very pretty game, nothing wrong with that. And this game does look amazing. Like it actually graphically looks really, really good. So with all that being said, obviously I'm pretty positive about this game coming out. I know not everybody's going to feel the same way, and I'm okay with that. And what I just mean by that is like, look, I get that some people have very valid opinions of this game that are negative. For instance, a lot of people are really, really upset about not being able to use Johnson's gun. And although for me, I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but it's not that big of a deal. I can move on from it. What I'm trying to just say here is if you feel otherwise, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I get it. There's a lot of passion behind games like this. I am very passionate about Halo, favorite franchise by far. But with that being said, I'll respect your opinion. Hopefully you respect mine, because my opinion is this game looks really good. I'm excited to play it, and I hope many of you will feel the same. Anyways, guys, been talking for probably far too long. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you sticking around. The gameplay is just from Halo Studios. They released like 30-something minutes of gameplay, so that's what's been playing in the background. And I'll leave it linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for your time. I will see you all later.